in China again. Wow, potentially novel viral outbreak is causing symptoms among children in China. Where has this happened before? And think of the children. If you don't want all these little Timmies and Jimmies and Sallies to die, then you must do exactly what we say, even though you did it before, and it did literally fucking butt-fuck nothing. That's what they're going to sell to the public. I hate to tell some of the people out there in New Tech Land, there are enough morons in the public for them to actually get away with it. There'll be protests. There'll be people like me who ignore the rules, like for instance... Alright everyone, they're trying to do it again. The WHO coming out, and I wonder why this is a fucking New Tech exclusive. Oh, you can't criticize them on YouTube. I never masked up when I went to the store during the masturbation that happened here in the Netherlands. And by the way, that was a low coast of the U.S., which should shame the United States. Locked down almost completely and did remoting and dumb bullshit like that. When I went to Rutland on the last visit before the last. All right, everyone. Again, WHO. There was a suggestion made that you had to quarantine. It wasn't really on YouTube. It was a gubernatorial order, so I ignored it. I didn't stay at home. I'm not going to spend the whole 2 weeks back was to do legal shit. I had to do car work and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, I can't do that sitting here. I might as well not travel at all. So I ignored it. I completely ignored the quarantine. I ignored social distancing. I ignored everything. I washed my hands the same amount that I normally do because I washed my hands after I shit and after I go out anyway. So what more can I do? Tried to stay healthy. I'm a skinny dude. As you may have seen in the morning videos where I've got a short sleeve on, I'm arguably close to underweight. Well, guess what? As far as health goes, it's much better to be on that side than to be on the hefty side. Just saying. When people say, well, you gotta hit the gym, well,
my goal, and that's my mission. But so speaking of like your lyrics and things like that, what kind of research goes into you creating the lyrics for your song? Because a lot of them are straight genius, brother. You know, the line every time, bro.
You know, it's common sense stuff. I'm not gonna do anything more than I did for it, just poo-poo the system and refuse to comply. And so should you, by the way. Officially, you should refuse to comply. Mass protests and civil disobedience, if any form of lockdownerism, masturbation, fascism ever attempts to rear its ugly head again. Mass protests, mass civil disobedience, total refusal, they can't throw you all in jail, they can't drag you all to work or for a fine, they can't stop you. There are too many of you. In no part of the world should people ever tolerate that again. Because as we saw with COVID, and potentially you're seeing now, people freak out, they get afraid, they get propagandized to by the legacy media and by the untouchables at the World Health Organization who are clearly and monstrously wrong on a regular basis, and they get gulled into accepting, you know, what's happening. But they shouldn't, because the cure is worse than the disease, in the most literal sense. The lockdownerism was worse than simply letting everyone get COVID. Lockdownerism will be worse than letting a bunch of kids get pneumonia, largely that they will recover from anyway, and there's no real problem. They haven't even established this novel virus or anything like that. This could just be influenza cases. Oh my god, kids have fluid in their lungs because they're really sick. I had that once. That was one time. I had a bad flu. And it was right at a time when there was also a bunch of wildfires happening in Canada, so the air quality was very, very bad. And my lungs started to go to the hospital. I had to get a nebulizer, and after that was prescribed an inhaler. Because supposedly I have mild asthma, although I haven't had any symptoms in a very long time, so I'm thinking I may not, and I was misdiagnosed. I don't know. Inhalers are helpful, though. A little bit winded or something, just take a puff. Nothing wrong with a little hit of the inhaler, you know? Looks kind of like a drug from Fallout, I suppose. You know, I was quite sick. I had a really bad flu that time. That's one of the sickest I've been in my life, along with norovirus and enterovirus. Those were no good. Now, if norovirus breaks out, what happens? People are shitting and vomiting everywhere. Enterovirus broke out. A bunch of kids were having muscle spasms. Some of them had temporary paralysis. We locked down society? No. It's pneumonia, generally going to clear itself. Not a problem. It's walking pneumonia anyway. Leave everyone alone. I'm not going to comply with any form of regulations on my behavior as the result of people freaking out. I'm tired of the retards of society dictating policy. And most of those retards are in Congress or in, the Forbidden City in China. They're a bunch of fucking retarded cunts. That's about all. Peace out.